Disappointment, anger, apathy. 3 losses and 3 progressive stages of grief. At a certain point, it's time to let this program go the way of the I Am West pool. Cement it the fuck over. You're listening to Can't Read, Can't Write. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Can't Read, Can't Write, the podcast that proves Spartans can talk. I'm Mike Jones, joined as always by the dude who's drinking, Kevin Greck, and the guy who's too angry to, Alex Plum.
Well, changed my mind in 5 minutes since I wrote that intro.
Things have come to light, man.
This is clear. Why is it clear?
Oh, are we doing number 28?
Oh, Lord Jesus. What is this, like fucking moonshine?
To dear listener, Mike Jones, who gave us a whole case of liquor in these little shooters, we asked him for one that we're drinking without knowing what it is, for one that's going to hurt. And what he told us was, go for old number 28. And I think it's because number 2 ate my will to live. That's where he got that from.
It was a good math joke.
It's not entirely his fault, but we'll get into that.
Bad. This is like moon. This might have been made in someone's bath fucking tub.
It's got
tastes like lemonade that came out of a garden hose.
Real flavored vodka type thing going or something.
Oh.
And that, dear listeners, the face I made for most of Saturday. But I think, I don't know about you guys. I think one of the nicest things about the podcast is that we get to go through this together and with our new parasocial friends. It does make this a little more tolerable.
Speaking of drinking and of the community, I have to share a story of a Good Samaritan. So as we were all leaving Spartan Stadium, and some of us did this sooner than others, I was walking back towards the east side of campus, and a Good Samaritan asked everyone walking past if they needed a drink. And this blue light, I couldn't crack for him there because I was about to go into Kellogg Center, and that would be uncouth even under those circumstances. But I can have it now and share it with everyone here because there is still good in this world, and Spartans will still share their blue light with you. So
to that
cheers.
Good Samaritan, cheers. I saved a car today that was a runaway.
What? Did you stop it like Superman?
Was it your own?
No, was at a Wawa. For those who don't know what Wawa is, it's sort of like maybe a Speedway would be the nearest comparison, but you can like order sandwiches on a touch screen and that kind of a thing. Anyway.
Sounds like a Sheetz.
Yeah, East Lansing's getting a Sheetz, by the way.
I hear it's getting a Sheetz.
It is a bit like a Sheetz. Anyway, someone had parked their car, and I'm walking up into the Wawa, and they start backing into me, and I'm like, also, your reverse lights aren't on. Well, they put their stick into neutral and didn't engage the e-brake.
Yep.
So
that'll do it.
So did you just stand there, or did you chalk the wheels, or what? Like, what did you do?
So I stopped it, and then someone came to help me push it forward while I got on the front side of it to make sure that it didn't just continue forward. And then another gentleman, those sort of tri-fold things that go over like one of the barricade pillars. Pulled one of those off, folded it up, and put it under the wheel, and went inside and screamed for somebody, and no one claimed their car. I assume it was out of deep shame.
Well, they could have been taking a poop. Could have been pooping.
Anyway, that's, I guess...
Surprised
that
you didn't
explains why they were in a rush, though.
Frankly, surprised you didn't lay down behind the car and just put your head underneath the tire as it slowly rolled backward.
I considered it for a moment.
If this had happened Saturday at 5:00, you probably wouldn't be with us right now.
Indeed.
Can I just make a quick note? Because I just feel like the need to go on record here briefly. I'm going to make several comments tonight that are going to be untoward, unprofessional, maybe disprofessional even. And
certainly disrespectful.
absolutely, to myself and my career, I even might add. But I want to be explicitly clear. Any references I make to self-harm are just in poor taste, aren't serious. And if anyone watching today really is has any part of their identity tied up in this team and its win-losses, we'll invite you to not listen to this week's pod because it's going to be bad, dark, and ugly. And we don't want anyone to do anything that could hurt themselves or someone they love. So I do feel like that might feel like overkill to make at the beginning of one of our podcasts, particularly anyone that's listened before. But we are definitely striking new lows in this program, and I'm not sure that we're going to have any sunny sides today. So just putting that out there. Touch grass, folks. If this has already got you down, this maybe isn't the week for you. For the rest of you, look for some catharsis because I promise you'll get it in spades today.
We, of course, want to thank everyone for listening and Plum for that content warning. Notice he did say jokes about self-harm of himself, but not the joke he just made about self-harm to me. And we would ask a small favor. Please share the pod with Spartans in your life. And if you want to prevent my self-harm, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Spartan_pod and at SpartanPod on Blue Sky. Okay. We're going to talk about the game for a little bit. I'm just going to do the preview for the episode. We are going to go behind the green wall, and we are, of course, going to talk football, where, frankly, this week it shouldn't lead, but it will. And we're going to talk briefly about the game, and I think we're just going to pivot straight into some program questions. We're going to touch on a little bit of basketball preseason news. Thank God hockey was there to lift us up. Oh, wait, nope. And then we'll celebrate some success for volleyball. We will head off Grand River to give a quick update on the private equity rumors before we're not going to preview the buzzsaw that is Indiana, taking your social media questions. For those many of you who participated in social media questions, I thank you. If we happen to have exhausted your point already during the primary point of the show, we will do our best to add some additional flavor, but hopefully buckle up. All right. Michigan State gets absolutely fucking manhandled by UCLA 38-13 in a game that showed no competitiveness outside of truly the very first series of the game.
Yep.
It was they kicked our ass at home on homecoming. A
team with no coach.
A team that was 0-4. They do have a coach, actually. I want to make a quick aside.
Sure.
Because even now, what's his last name? Tim Skipper. Tim Skipper, I think, this is just a weird thing. Jerry Neuheiser seems to get all of the pictures for whatever's happening at UCLA, but they do have a head coach. His name is Tim Skipper. And he was the interim head coach, I believe, at Fresno State last year, taking them to a bowl game also. So, like, I do think at some point in time, there's a weird thing happening where truly, if you Google UCLA head coach football, 4 of the top stories feature pictures of Jerry Neuheisel. I'm not calling it racism, by the way, but it's a thing to double click on. We're not
saying this is a racial thing. We're just asking questions.
But it's a thing. Anyway. But yeah, credit to UCLA at every phase. They dominated Michigan State. So is there anything in particular from the game itself that we want to talk about? I got a couple things to chat about myself, but I'm curious if anyone else has any moments from the game or themes from the game that we want to talk about.
Was there a single person on the planet in the second quarter that didn't know that was a fake punt? Like, I said it to the people around me. They agreed before it was snapped. We even got to the point where we were talking about like, they did this at Penn State. You know, they like to steal possessions and do that kind of stuff. Fake punt happened. It seemed that no one on the team or staff was aware that was going to be an obvious fake.
2 of the players were jumping up and down doing this, frantically doing this.
Listeners, that's Plum making a timeout motion.
Timeout gesture, frantically, like, Oh my God. I'm frankly surprised there wasn't some sort of offside because the movement was so just ridiculous to no avail.
Great.
And of course, those players didn't even seek to stop what was happening. They let it happen, which I'm sure we'll get into. But
I didn't
there's
rewatch,
a couple.
but I also, just as an aside, I do think the call on that punt return, by the way, was for a return. So like dudes were bailing on the line to get back and protect the punt returner.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even a good call on top of all of that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No.
I guess
I don't know where to start. I don't know where do you, I mean, we just have to start somewhere. Let's start
at the first quarter, the 4th and inches play call in our own zone that seemed to have deflated the entire team in that particular moment.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Did you think, I just want to hear from either one of you, yes or no, was that a good play call at that time of the game, at that part of the field? Was that a good play call? Kevin, yes or no?
I wouldn't have done it.
Michael?
No.
I say yes. Now, this goes to show that I know nothing about football, but I understood why they did it. The last several weeks, we have had momentum on 4th down, much more than we have on 3rd down. This was an honest-to-God inches situation with a quarterback who has legs and butt for some reason. And I'm not even going to get to what the play call was. And Michael, we talked about this.
Oh, wait, are you asking to go for it or not? Or the play call itself?
Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry. Not the call. Yes, the question to go for it. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No. Yes, I would have. I'm fine with the going for it because at 4th and inches,
thank you.
Your quarterback should be able to fall forward. And
thank you.
Kevin,
are we on the same page? Was that it? Or you're still not going to go for it?
I don't feel strongly one way or another, but I personally would not have called for that 4th down in that position under those circumstances.
You'd have kicked it. Okay. I would have. We're down 17-7. Are we at that point, or is it? Where are we at?
I think it was tied.
7-10? Is it 7-10?
7-10
at that point?
Yeah,
7-10.
It goes to 7-17 very quickly.
Because of that. It's 7-10. That, for me, particularly after the strength of the first drive that Childs has, if he just falls forward, if just any kind of... Why aren't we doing tush pushes? Why are we not doing any tush pushes?
In fact, we've only ever faked a tush push on this team.
We don't do it. We won't do it. I don't understand. I don't understand. I Christ forsaken don't understand. But that one thing to my thinking, that is the Achilles heel. That one thing having happened, that first down having been made, we would have won the football game.
What?
Well,
yeah,
it certainly was a tide turner.
There's no doubt about that. It's difficult for me to say because we got so, as Jonesy said, manhandled in every facet of the game that I have some difficulty accepting that statement. But Plum, you did watch it today. God bless you. God bless your heart.
I'm going to tell you why I think we would have won the game, because we already know that the coaches are inept. The coaching staff here has proven their incapability at every level, at every single position group, to a person and to their families, who, again, per my last week's voicemail, should be ashamed of their bodies. But what we saw this week was an utter collapse of the team, the players themselves. And this will be the source of my ire and opprobrium this week, and probably for the rest of the season, will be anything I can say to the detriment of every single fucking player is that they quit. And this loss at the end of the day is on them, because if that first down happens, they don't quit the way that they did. That'll be my main overarching thesis this week, that they've given up on the program entirely. And so there really is no coming back at this point.
Yeah, my understanding from the press conferences after the fact is that the call was for a QB sneak, and UCLA went into a sneak defense. They bunched up at the line, and so it was a designed audible out. Mm-hmm. The idea being, I guess, that you might hit a home run on that play, that you should be able to stretch enough at least to get the inches, but because they're so bunched in, you might be able to hit a home run. That to me is like galaxy brain stuff. Fall fucking forward 2 inches. Like, just get the first down, because it sort of goes back to what we, I think, talked about in the Western game, which is that if you can't get, in that case, truly 18 inches maybe is what they needed. If you can't do that, I don't know what we're doing here. Like it to a degree, I would argue that you probably ought to be able to get 18 inches against Ohio State. Like, it's not even a yard. So I don't know. That to me was just idiocy at every level. I guess, should we talk about quarterback play?
Yeah, please.
So Aiden Childs goes out early in the third quarter on what appeared to me to be targeting. I don't know how that was not targeting. I'm deeply confused by the targeting rule.
Yeah, if our targeting is targeting, how is that targeting not targeting?
In particular, Plum, I don't know if you saw this on the replay. There was later on, they went and looked at another targeting call, but ended up not calling it because apparently it does matter if the offensive player lowers their head. I have never seen that called ever. Like, just I don't know this rule. I don't understand this rule. But anyway, so Aiden Childs gets shellacked.
Well, more to the point, clearly the players don't understand it either, that's the fallacy of the whole thing. If you can't understand the rule, then you can't coach the rule. If you can't coach the rule, you can't play to the rule. If you can't play to the rule, then there's no point fucking
there is
having
no
a
rule. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, Aiden Childs leaves the game, and what does Alessio go in the remainder of the game? Does anyone have the...
He goes 8 for 18 for 100 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Yep. With a long
somehow
of 23.
His QBR is lower, 16.2 than Childs, 25.6.
Well, here's what I will say about Alessio.
Yeah.
That in his 8 for 18, I noticed a few things. One, dude gets the ball out fast and is decisive with his throws. And there is good zip on that ball. We saw that, by the way, at Nebraska as well, when everyone said there's no quarterback controversy. The other thing I've noticed is that I'm pretty sure in his 8 for 18, in one half of football, Alessio Milivojevic targeted Nick Marsh more times than Aiden Childs has over the last 3 games combined.
Maybe the season.
I would truly invite someone to check me on that stat, but I would put money on it. The ball seemed to find Marsh over and over and over again. And you know what? He didn't make every one of those throws. They weren't all completed, but there was a concerted attempt when you're down to get the ball into your best player's hands, and there were no fucks given about it. And at some point in time, there's this idea that, there's so much potential with Aiden Childs. Aiden Childs I would rather see Nick Marsh get the ball every time. Like, at this point, get the ball to your best player.
There are members of our audience that are yelling at their speakers or headphones or whatever it is right now. Nick Marsh is double covered most of the time.
Every fucking time. Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
But let's get creative. There are things that you can do.
Yeah.
You still have options.
There are things that Nick Marsh can do. On the one play that I can remember in the first half where he did get targeted by Childs, he was in single coverage and he just stopped running. He just gave the fuck up. And I get that it was late in the second quarter. I get that the game was basically already out of hand, but and this is what I'm talking about, the utter flagging, the deflatedness of this team. We're going to get into it when Jonathan Smith, though, gets up in front of his presser and says that this team, there was no loafing on this team. The care factor is still there big. This is a man who last week, I believe, was on planet fucking, I don't know what, Alpha Centaurian, saying, God, no, just utterly disconnected. Like he's watching a different game. I don't know if this is an aw shucks Mayberry thing where he thinks that this is like folksy. I don't know if he thinks he has to talk this way. I guess I'll save some of that. I'm just saying he's fucking stupid. Or he thinks we are, because they were not trying at all. Maybe Milojevic, whatever, with the one exception, because the kid wants to be able to put some oomph in there to justify why Childs needs to be not ever playing at Spartan
continue to
Stadium
be
again.
injured for the rest of the season,
Please,
or at least for the next game.
Please have him join Stanton Ramil and the rest of the fucking assholes who are on that out list. I haven't started. I'm gonna start. I haven't started yet.
At some point in time, I guess. Look, you can say he was double covered. He did also target other receivers. Like in the Nebraska game, we saw him hit Velling, I believe, a couple times.
Non-factor tonight. And Frazier.
But
he would go after Frazier, but only on a lateral. Slant pass, that was it. That's the only pass that he can make with any consistency. 5 yards to his right. That's
Are we talking about Alessio right now or Childs?
No, Childs. We're on to Childs. Only Childs. The only thing Childs can do, he might as well just pitch the fucking ball underhand. That's the only goddamn thing that he can do.
Hopefully it's forward if he's doing that.
Slightly.
Look, I don't know that there's much to say about the defense. There was nothing that was particularly surprising about.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I want to just go back to Childs because I don't want to have to come back to him again. I just want to say the thing I want to say now. And maybe we can discuss it. Maybe it'll come up later. He's done starting. He's got to be done starting. I know he won't be. But do you either of you honestly, earnestly believe that he has anything else to offer this program? Am I completely? Do I literally have to go outside and touch grass? To my mind, fuck him. He's done. Is this insane?
I mean, if I were going to make an excuse for him, I was going over the post this week of football across the entire country team stats. And right now, our stats are horrible. You're not going to believe this, listener. Horrible in every conceivable metric, basically. We're good in fourth down defense. We're 27th in the country in that. We're good in... That's it. That's the only thing that we're even... Oh, penalties per play? Still a not terribly penalized team, and maybe they do deserve some credit for that. But of all of the terrible stats, the worst one, 122nd in the nation, that's 122 out of 130 teams, quarterback sack percentage. 9.6% of plays, he gets hit. So if you want to make an excuse for Aiden Childs, it's that he gets banged up, he gets gun shy. But it gets back to, you can scheme around this kind of stuff. Get some quick releases. Get him some throws that he's comfortable with. Why is it that when we need 3 yards, he's pulling back and he's overthrowing the receiver for like a 25-yard attempted pass? Like, why are we making the decisions that we're making about him if we know that the offensive line is garbage and injured on top of being garbage? So I'm with you, Plum.
Okay,
I'm with you.
I was going to ask. So then,
can I just plus that, one?
Yeah, please.
I also think that was my point about Alessio, is that he hit top of the drop, made a decision, threw the ball. I mean, I appreciate that he had 2 picks that, like, to start in one, but like, there was a lot of zip on the ball. Like, he put it in a place that his receiver could get it or not. Like, and it wasn't going elsewhere. I think that's my point, is that, sure, Greg, you're right, but like, if you just get rid of the ball,
yeah,
this isn't a problem.
Right.
Anyway, Plum.
It's less a problem.
Thank you. I wanted to be on the same page and I think we all are. And I think you're right, Greg. I just want to say, I do think you're right. I feel badly for him to the extent that he has gotten zero protection from this team. It is almost as if they hate him. And in fact, they may hate him.
They may resent him in the way that we do as well.
And just knowing they know how much he gets paid.
Yeah.
And so they're like, I can't understand it. So I just want to state the official position of this pod, which is strip him of his scholarship, strip him of his housing, strip him of his NIL money, expel him from the university. I don't give a fuck where he goes. Goodbye. All right. Thank you. Great. Thank you.
I cannot wait for further declarations of the official opinion of the pod as we move
this
through.
Is the official opinion of the pod. The official opinion of the pod is, all right, kill him.
I did not know. You'll note I did not say to kill him.
We didn't go full Dumb and Dumber reference.
Rob him of any hope of a future.
Everything that he has.
Yep, that's it. That's all we want. Thank you.
Anyway, so the defense, I don't know that there's much to say on this. I mean, if we want to go after people, Amorian Smith was terrible in this game. Though credit to him, he played, which you can't say for a great number of people on the defense. We also were without Jalen Thompson, who maybe hadn't been racking up the stats this year, but had been great at setting the edge, and was out with an injury. Smith made a comment in his post-game press conference about maybe being less physical during practices during the week, that maybe that's affecting energy come game day.
Yeah, that was like a little throwaway thing that he put in there.
Yeah, I mean, I have some questions about the number of injuries that seem to be collecting during practices, but
12 guys out, and I want to know what your opinions are on there has to be a test for injuries. Has to be a test. And at a certain point, NIL money, scholarship money, housing, something is taken from them. I don't care. Either you are out for the season because the injury is severe enough, or my God, you are being compensated to play the fuck through it. Because I look at 12 fucking names and it beggars belief to think that they are all actually injured enough to be unable to play the game. So again, this is what I'm talking about when I say that the team has quit. This is the bullshit that we saw under Mel Tucker, and we saw it last season too. It is quitting behavior. It is not trying. And so I give a ton of credit to the guys who are actually trying. I have nothing nice to say about Lepo. Not a goddamn thing except one. Motherfucker knows he's bad at football. Motherfucker knows everyone in Spartan Nation wants the worst for him. And yet, week after week, the dumb son of a bitch ties his shoes and gets on the field and just lets himself and his team get annihilated. But he does it because he knows it's his job and he's being compensated to do it. So the rest of these fuckers have no excuse. And if Smith is right, if any of this is practice related, it's malpractice, and that should be enough for us to fire him and not have to pay.
It can't possibly. Oh, that would be nice. It can't possibly be that practices are too tough. I mean, look at this team. It might be that practices aren't tough enough.
Plum, you just said something that triggered me. I do want to call out because I feel like this is a microcosm for, or maybe just an encapsulation in a photo of what's wrong with this team. But at one point in time, Brandon Tullis, running back, was on the field with his fucking shoe untied.
There it is.
And took the next play.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure those things are taped on there somehow, but like, my God. You didn't even have your shoes tied. Yeah, Smith was bad. Couldn't set an edge. Jalen Berger.
Are we doing this now, or are we doing this during the program part?
Sure, we can wait. We can wait to talk about how someone who was deemed not good enough for our program went on to torch us and look like a fucking Heisman candidate. Yeah, we can wait. And Anthony Jones, who was on the team last year, I believe recorded a sack in this game. That was cool. All right. I don't have anything else from this game. We nearly had a punt blocked. I don't know. Krishan McCray, I believe, attempted to return a kick at one point in time, netting us field position at the 15.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Cool. Let's just talk about the program. Let's move on. Yep. Let's do it.
Is this too far gone at this point? Is this, let's look forward. Penn State, breaking news. I don't know if you've seen this already, dear listeners. Penn State also without a coach. That seems to not matter. In fact, that might give Penn State the edge when they come to Spartan Stadium, it seems. But they just lost to Northwestern at home. There are other programs.
Oh, I thought we were piling on what else is going on our program, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there are other programs that are having some difficulty. Michigan just took the same trip out west that we did, played earlier in the day and lost to USC.
To USC, by the way, who lost one of their running backs. Plum, you're not muted. In fact, you just turned your. Oh, okay.
No, I know. I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
No. Let them hear. Let them hear my typing.
Clack away.
And the USC is without their first, second, third, fifth, and sixth string running backs now, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's say by accident this team lucks into a couple more wins. I'm not saying bowl bound, but I'm saying like 5. Is there anything that can happen for the rest of the season that is redeemable with this program for either of you right now?
Oh God. Yeah. Well, okay. I have one. He sacks 2. I would need to see a leader. I need to see that one or two, probably 2, at least 1 coach is fired this week. I'd have to see that. Okay. Immediate short term, someone's got to be fired. And the second is that Childs doesn't start again this season. That's it. If I saw those 2 things and we became bowl eligible, somehow we got to 6 wins after those 2 things, then I would say to you, all right, okay. Jonathan Smith had showed me at least that he is a capable leader insofar as he identified that there were things that were wrong. He took concrete, actionable steps to address them. And under new team leadership, he was able to rally them to get to 6 wins. I don't even care if we lose the bowl game, but that to me would be like, okay, all right. Do you think
There's Plum. Jonesy, your thoughts on that?
Confidence that happens.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Childs is going to get benched, though I don't know that Plum's wrong on that. I do think this is 2 weeks in a row that Jonathan Smith has talked pretty more directly about the offensive play calling being a problem. So I'm kind of with Plum on it might be time for Lindgren to go.
Yeah, it's fire a coordinator time.
Yeah.
If Penn State's firing their head coach after what they've been through, it's fire a coordinator time.
And if he doesn't want to fire Lindgren, I'm also content with Jonathan Smith taking over play calling duties, and Lindgren can do the remainder of the year as the offensive coordinator because there's management that goes into being offensive coordinator as well. And so whatever. But like at the end of the year, Chad Wilt needs to be fired. To be clear, like I'm not unaware that look, their family is going to be uprooted. Like I understand that there's a cost that goes with this.
And but they know the cost. They know this, and
they are compensated.
Hold on, but Plum, stop, because you can say that about Chad Wilt, and that's fair. But underneath Chad Wilt is an assistant coach who does not make that level of money, and there's a GA who definitely does not make that. Like, I just want to be aware, like, I think it's okay to be acknowledged that there's a human element to firing a human being and that there are downstream consequences of that.
Can I say
all the same, he needs to be fired. Like,
yes, no, thank you. That's good. But I just want to say, and you're right. You're not wrong. You're right. And this is the first rule that people learn when they work for corporations, particularly with human resources. People who go to human resources and tell them the truth, thinking that human resources has any obligation to any single employee. They quickly find out that after they've been fired, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Human resources, like the organization's chief executive, like the organization's board or whatever, trustees or, shareholders, are responsible for one thing and one thing alone. And in the for-profit world, of course, it is to return money to the shareholders in the form of money. And nonprofits is to achieve the mission of the organization. And that's all. You serve the organization. You don't serve the people. You serve the organization. It is dehumanizing. It is awful. We can talk philosophically about it all day long. It is the system of government and economics that we have in this country. Love it or hate it, it is what it is. So they choose this line of work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They have big dreams and big hopes because of the big paychecks that come when they are successful. But that money is so obscene. It is so immorally large that I don't give a fuck. I do not care. And you're right about the GA. But then motherfucker should have gotten his English degree and gone to work for Avis. I do not fucking care. Sorry. Wrong career field. Great. And what a great career field. How much fun to travel and do the thing you love and the thing ostensibly you're very good at. Not this program.
Yeah, they're going to land somewhere else. By the way,
Yeah,
you're the
no,
GA. This happens. There's a
Fine.
vortex. All the chairs move every year. They're going to find somewhere else.
I think Plum. My point was more heading off for people who think that, like, when I say that I don't think of those things. Like, I understand there's a cost to it, that real people are impacted by this.
Yes,
but it doesn't. To your point, the obligation is to the program, and
it
so
has to be.
And this. Yeah. So I think I would echo Plum on, at least for right now, there needs to be a change at coordinator happening sooner rather than later. And I have an opinion on which one. Like, I don't think it's just one coordinator needs to go. I think Brian Lindgren needs to go. I think he is the problem. You brought in a quarterbacks coach because he couldn't sufficiently coach the quarterbacks and do his job as offensive coordinator. It's time for him to go. And then I think the other thing is, I just need to see an attention to detail that heretofore we have not seen. When you get up at a press conference and be like, well, we lost some one-on-one battles, I'm tired of that.
Do it. We're so far past that.
Like,
that's when you lose a close game to, like, you were competitive on the road and you lose a close game.
No, you lose to Ohio State and you lose one-on-one battles. Okay. I understand.
Yeah, you lost every one-on-one battle, every play of scrimmage. You're right. Good,
you know what?
Good coaching.
Lose to USC one-on-one battles, and we had that happen, and we could watch what happened there and say, you know, in some ways, they just had better dudes than this, and that's okay. Like, it's not where you want to be in the long run, but, like, you can accept that as a reality.
Right.
What I can't
it doesn't
accept
work
as a reality,
for today.
Yes, is UCLA, Nebraska beating us in one-on-one battles. That is not about Jimmy's and Joe's. That is about attention to detail.
And what was he? What did he keep saying, Plum, in his press conference? The go get it, or what was it that he said like 15 times?
The care factor. The care factor. The care
factor is what he said.
Still got the care factor. They haven't given up. They weren't loafing around. This team's still high on the care factor. And he said it in the other way too, that UCLA's care factor was high because of this new energy. And then he said, when asked about, how did you feel, coach, with your players and you being booed off the field into the tunnel at the half? How did that make you feel? And he said, and credit, I think this podcast believes that this was a fairly okay answer from Jonathan Smith. He said, now listen, I want to coach at a place that has a high level of energy, a high level of care factor. So it works both ways. They love you when you're great, and when you're not so great, you're going to hear about it on that end. And that's true. I guess that was maybe the one area he could have said care factor there and shut the fuck up after. Chose not to. Can I ask you guys this, though? We're going to get into this maybe in a little bit, so maybe I'll wait. I'm going to ask you about your thoughts on at what point does J-Bot have to pull the trigger on this? And so maybe that's not right now.
I think listening to his press conference, and maybe Monday this will be different, and maybe this is just who he is. It was communicated to me in his time in front of the media that he does not seem to get the gravity of the situation here. You've been humiliated multiple times in winning games. A team just came across the country that has already fired its coach and is, Jonesy, as you're saying, not even talking about its actual coach anymore, talking more about its offensive coordinator. These are games that you have got to win, and you even competitive in them. It was over before the half, before the boos. This is entirely unacceptable. And if this was year 3 instead of year 2, you'd probably be on the James Franklin Perp Walk right now. So he doesn't seem to get how awful this is. And the people in the stadium booing, they don't even see the 2 top recruits from the team decommitting this week. We were kind of prepared for that. We kind of knew that this was in the cards, it's going to happen. It still took place. So this program is rudderless right now. And there's a guy in charge of it that thinks, give me 5 years, I'll turn it around in 5 years. That's the distinct vibe I've gotten from him. It's like, you know what, I'll get to this eventually. It'll work. No, that's not. Yeah, you get paid $10 million per year for results today. And we're not asking to be Coach Sig. We'll talk about Indiana. We'll get to that. forks down today, forks down tomorrow, forks down forever. But you're getting paid more than Coach Sig. Yeah. And there are expectations for this. And you're not even close to meeting them.
I just need to, I just want to 100% second everything, not even in a note. But I just want to give you the quote from Smith when asked about this in the post game.
Yeah.
We're going to analyze it in a big way, he says. And then we've got to fix what we can fix.
Yeah.
And then we think about if this is a flaw that we can't totally fix, maybe think about different scheme, different personnel, that kind of thing. That is the worst, most soul churning. I mean, it just proves the point. This is a person who has either got fucking nothing up to, makes Yali look like a Rhodes Scholar. I don't know, honestly, how he could even, if he was maybe just afraid, if he was so overwhelmed by the questions, didn't see them coming, he didn't know how to answer. That's the answer we get in the 6th game of the season. When we are winless in Big Ten play, when we have lost to Nebraska and UCLA, and the answer is we've got to fix what we can fix? What are you saying?
Yeah. No, you're right. He's taking this like a guy that's just, listen, we'll get around to this. Like what? What's everyone so up in arms about? What's this gotta be chill, bro. What's going on? He doesn't have it. He does now. If we end up sticking with him for years for one reason or another, I can see an 8-win season happening on accident at some point someday. But to build this program and make it relevant in college football in the direction that the league is heading, this is not the guy. And there's very little that he can do for me at this point to demonstrate that it is. I mean, I need to see like 3 more wins, and I need to see big time competitive improvements, and I need to see him make hard decisions, types of decisions that Mark D'Antonio wasn't willing to make at the end of his career. So unless those things start happening, which is just like a culmination of everything that the two of you just said, I'm also out on Jonathan Smith.
I think it's also a tone thing, right? Like actually, because Plum, here's the thing. The place that I'll kind of push back, and it sounds like you both walked away from the press conference with a different impression, but I watch him talk, and I actually see someone who's thoughtful, not overpromising, also not like I don't come away from those press conferences actually as angry as maybe you all do, but I will say that but there are times that I wish I was hearing him say a little bit more or say it a little bit differently, which is to say that he gets asked questions about some stuff where they're inevitably dumb questions where I wish he'd say, you don't get to this place in college football without being a super competitive person. Of course I'm pissed we lost. Like I just would wish I could hear him say, just feel a little bit more that he's pissed that we lost a game. And I get that's not who he is, by the way. Like he's not and there might be value in that. I could see a world in which not having too high, not being too low is like valuable. But like, holy shit, man, we're not in that moment. We're not in that moment.
There's value to that when you're in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State and you get a 3-point lead at halftime and you go into the locker room and you're just like, we're playing our game. We're even keel. It's business as usual. This is who we are. Let's get back out there. There's not a lot of value to that when the team is giving up. Now, we received a text message, and I should say this out loud, indicating that maybe there was flu going around on the team. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's no excuse for the performance that we saw today. Nope. And as far as I'm concerned, he clearly, I think in his heart of hearts, he does not understand the gravity of the situation that we were in. I don't think he's really thought about how awful a loss this was. The circumstances, the opponent, the context of the season. I don't think he has fully realized that this is perhaps the lowest moment as a Spartan football fan that I have seen in my fandom. Yeah. The Minnesota loss a couple of years ago was bad.
This is bad. Very bad.
There's other ones that you could point to the Notre Dame in the rain, 20 years ago lost. This is as bad as it has been. That I have ever seen.
This is Mike. Thank you. It was a good counterpoint. I appreciate it. I think that perspective is real value, and I think where you ended it, I just want to repeat something that Graham said in his LSJ column, kind of bemoaning the state of where the program is, and really, I think you said earlier, probably as nihilistic as Graham gets in writing, right. At least. But this line was just excellent. This is some of his finest perspective, I think. He wrote this: D'Antonio knew how to connect with long-suffering Spartan fans. Smith, so far, has not. And in that paragraph, he's talking about how Smith just doesn't have the personality to woo donors. He blames Alan Haller to an extent because he didn't consult with the big donors. And it's been some of those big donors who have not ponied up on IL, which has not helped Smith, who, again, lacking the personality, hasn't done the work to ingratiate himself to the donors, which has become kind of this, full circle death spiral. But at the end of the day, when we blew a game and D'Antonio got up there and would go, next question. I don't know. Next question. Stupid question. Next question. Guys, keep them coming. This is great. I'm here all day for this. You saw a guy who was angrier than you could possibly be. You have him going after U of M players in the post games because he's so fired up. That and by the way, that what you get still is, you see D'Antonio out in public and you say hello to him and he's like, fuck you, and walks by. Well, that just might be the guy.
He didn't say that to Plum, listeners, you'll note on the sideline. He didn't. Plum assumed that that's what he was going to say. So Plum
he was about, he made a couple of, I did get him to smile, but in a way that didn't feel fully authentic. My point just is that, this is who D'Antonio is. And he is who we needed after the John L. Smith years, and he took us into Valhalla. Insofar as you get there with a program like this, I mean, getting to the college playoff was no fucking small feat. Mm-hmm. But this was the thing I bitched about with Mel Tucker 3 years ago, was that he was dead behind the fucking eyes when he would get up to do his post games. It was the same platitudes, the same litany of wood chipping and wood house and deep water and whatever the fuck meaningless bullshit trite contrivances that don't mean anything. And yeah, Smith's folksy, but there's no depth there. Like there was no depth for Tucker. Can I just say this last thing about this? And then I know you got to go on. It's just this. How in the fuck, after Tucker, did we get ourselves into this situation with this contract? How did we get ourselves into this situation with this? Was it so bad after Tucker that we really felt we had to guarantee all this money?
It's where the market is going, and also it was that
apparently
bad.
Not.
Yes.
Look at Signetti. Let's get into Signetti because apparently not.
Right. Okay,
but so no one wanted to hire. He was not on any lists at the time. Indiana backed into this situation.
All right. No. So
in multiple different ways. It's not just Signetti. It's also their schedule. He's taking advantage of this schedule, a schedule that, if Signetti were here, he wouldn't be 17-2. He'd be 17 or he'd be 12-9 or whatever it is. I can't do the math.
I don't know, man. He just went to Oregon and beat them, but in Autzen Stadium.
Listen,
hold on.
I think it could have worked with him with Jonathan Smith, but he's clearly not the guy under the circumstances where we're at right now. Continue.
All right, Jones. Let's talk about Signetti, because I think there's a couple things that there's this idea. David Harns wrote some piece that where he also apparently thinks he invented the FOIA and was able to do rough math on a buyout, and he's entitled to citations on that. But that fans clamoring for the Signetti model, which he implies is uprooting a team that just made the FBS and bringing them over to another school and finding success, is what people want. That's not, I don't want to speak for anyone else. That's not my impression of the Signetti model. Dude's intro press conference, he says, Google me, all I do is win. And then he's gone on to do that. And he does that because his teams work hard, are competent, and pay attention to details. So does that mean that he lost to Ohio State and Notre Dame in the college football playoff? Yeah. But you know what? He didn't get there by chance. It is the
he-
exact same model of Mark D'Antonio, just performed in a modern era. It is attention to detail, competence, and effort.
Yeah, and he didn't like bring over Mendoza, for example. He got Mendoza from, I believe, from what I've seen from Mendoza's post-game press conferences, cloning Paul Davis and turning him into the football version as he just sort of bumbles through Plaid. Anyone that thinks that football is like three-dimensional chess, listen to a Fernando Mendoza post-game interview. It's not hard. Jesus. But he got him out of the transfer portal from Cal. Okay, yeah. So that is available to everyone, by the way. It's not the Cignetti model to just uproot an entire team and bring them over. We basically brought over Oregon State.
No, we only brought over a few players.
That was our Cignetti model.
We brought over the entire staff inexplicably.
Yes, the staff and like how many? 10 players, something like that. 7,
and paid that staff. They all got. We said this at the time.
Massive,
all got raises for
increases.
Unclear reasons. The other thing I want to say about Cignetti, because I was going to save this for a bit later. We have a question on this, but I want to say it now. Chris Vanini put out a report card on the Penn State job, ranking, A, B, like from a donor support, university stability, etc. Gave it an A, and then listed the number of candidates that were like, people who could be interested, like Kurt Cignetti. I don't understand what the fuck that's about, because Kurt Cignetti's on that list, and what scorecard would Indiana have gotten when they hired Kurt Cignetti? That would have been what?
Minus.
That's a shit job, right? And now all of a sudden, it's not. And so this, I guess, I don't know if we're going to fire Jonathan Smith this year. It looks like we're going to fire him at some point in time. But this whole idea that that we should, whenever we go coach searching, that anyone should know who the right coach is, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Because
he was on no one's list. He was on no one's list.
Exactly. And now he's on everybody's list. And so this idea that I don't want to hear a single tweet. It's like all of you who became experts in athletic directors. Stop.
It's like the election, when all of a sudden you're on social media election night and they're like, oh yeah, that county, the vote always comes in late in that county, but we're good for like 4 more tranche of vote. It's like, shut up. You don't know anything.
So I will say this, if we're looking at things that Jonathan Smith seems to have done well by way of recruits he just lost, is they do seem to potentially have an eye for high school talent. I believe our third best recruit is about ready to take an official visit to Alabama now. So watch out on that one. But so maybe there is truth that this is a staff that actually can develop talent. Maybe this is really old school. But I don't know, it's not working. And I will say, you want to, Plum, you talked about how D'Antonio responded in those press conferences. We also have another folksy dude on fucking campus, and he'll let you know how he feels in Tom Izzo every single game. And there's a lot more of those games. I need more out of this coach. Do we want to talk about buyouts though? Because I think there's some bad math going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we do know that Jonathan Smith would be owed $33 million if he would be bought out. That would have been the second largest buyout in college football history, but Penn State said, hold my beer.
Now it's the third.
And now it'll be the third largest buyout. Now, Penn State does have an infusion of cash coming from their deal to switch to Adidas, about $50 million, which sounds like most of it will be going to James Franklin. But I do believe we also are due a large infusion of cash coming up soon from CalPERS.
As is everyone in the Big Ten.
More on that later. But, some have suggested that in addition to the $33 million that you would owe Jonathan Smith, that then you'd also have to come up with another $70 million to pay a new coach. Plus, the
just say it. He was on the
That's it.
podcast last week. Just say whose math you're checking.
All right.
Don't be a coward, Michael.
But other people have parroted it. I've seen Sheehan say this, and I think this is bad math. First of all, you don't owe Jonathan Smith $33 million right away. You owe it to him over the course of the remainder of his deal. So you can probably negotiate a lower lump sum payment. That'd be one option. The other thing is that you were going to pay Jonathan Smith that amount of money anyway. So this idea that you're going to have to come up with $70 million for a new coach is also not true, because you were going to spend that on a coach anyway. So it's not.
Well, now
70.
you're bad mathing in a different way.
Well, no, so like
the good math is somewhere in between these two maths that you're describing.
I'm just saying.
Well, by the way, if they don't pay him, they may not have to pay him out. By the way, if he gets a new job, most of these contracts, you're not actually on the hook.
Yeah, is UCLA still considering him for that gig? Is the UCLA athletic director in Spartan Stadium like, I really like the cut of this guy's jib on the other sideline as we humiliate him in front of everyone?
There is a duty to mitigate, but Jonathan Smith will not make as much money anywhere as much as he would at Michigan State. It won't even be close. So, truly, if he got a coordinator job, he'd be making maybe $1 million a year if we're lucky, and we'd still owe him another
seven.
So it's not even close. But the point is that from a cost perspective, you were going to pay a coach no matter what. So your only extra cost really is for the buyout itself.
Yes, that's good math.
That's my point, is that so it's not real additional money to go buy a new coach. You were going to spend that money anyway.
And then there is more. You're going to have to buy out all of his staff. That's happening one way or another. It's another good reason why
they're not on a one-year deal
this week works. Just do that. That's good money. There's also, college football is changing so rapidly. And if you're young and listening to this podcast, you might not know this, but back in the day, and even the year that we had Kenneth Walker, MSU was in the conversation, the national conversation. In like promo packages, you would see the Spartans, someone's catching a ball or running it or something like that. In Big Noon Tailgate or whatever the ESPN one is, I don't even remember at this point. Who's watching that garbage? That would be a game that needs to be discussed, and they've got to pick who's going to win. Like, you need to be in the conversation right now more than ever before. And the cost of not being in that conversation is so much more than $33 million if you're just looking in the football bubble. If as a school, MSU decided to stop playing college football tomorrow, I honestly don't know how detrimental it would be. Because it's all so stupid.
We've stopped playing college football anyway.
Yeah, it does. That's the reality of the situation. But there is a huge opportunity cost to just coasting and being a garbage team right now that MSU can't afford if, as an institution, it decides it's going to be committed to football as a sport. So you have to make a decision, and I think buyouts right now are more justifiable than ever before.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you're seeing so many of them happen. But I'm looking at 0-3 in the Big Ten Purdue, and they've looked more competent than us throughout their season. Northwestern just ended. Just
went
Franklin.
On the road and ended James Franklin's career. Yeah.
And things that I can say with 100% confidence that we couldn't have done.
Would not have done that. No.
So
there's not a version of this team that Saturday that was going to go on the road and beat James Franklin.
And so you asked Greg, or maybe it was you, Plum, is there coming back from this? What do you need to say? Yeah. And which I think the fact of the matter is that it's hard to answer, because I don't think whatever is required is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't even think beating Michigan this year, that doesn't do fuck all
really
for
does
me.
it. Yeah.
Because you're right, Greg. You can't not be in the conversation. And we're so far away.
One year, Michigan lost to a little school called Toledo. They're in the MAC. after losing to Toledo, they still put, because you can put embarrassing things on your video boards at home football games. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It does happen occasionally. But that season, history lesson, Michigan put on their video board that we've never lost to a MAC team, even though they had earlier that year. That Toledo team still fired its coach at the end of the year because it wasn't playing to the standard. That's how bad things were. And beating Michigan this year is not good enough to save anyone's job if they were supposed to be fired anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Plum, you got any thoughts on this?
I think I've made my part. I think you guys have handled it well. I would not be upset if he was fired immediately. I think I like that you took the math angle on this. I think that's right. And I mean, from what I understand about buyout contracts is that if you get a job, you've negated the remainder of the balance of the contract, or at least the difference. So there should be some savings in this, particularly if it's over 10 years. So
it's funny
I hadn't thought about that.
It sounds like we haven't really paid the last guy's buyout. We're getting paid too.
They probably have that in escrow somewhere, right? They've got to have that in escrow somewhere.
Oh man. I mean,
if Penn State could afford it, fuck. Like, Penn State's gonna have to pay.
We should also say it's not $180 million, as some have said, and everyone listening to this knows that we love Sheehan, and I'm going to text him before this goes live to give him a little heads up. But
we do, yes, we should. We genuinely love it, Sheehan,
but it is not $180 million. It's not nothing though. Like the new addition on Spartan Stadium is going to be $50 million less nice as a result of this. So the money is there, but you're going to see it. You're going to be able to walk up to parts of Spartan Stadium Tower 2 in 7 years, and it's going to be a little cockeyed because you couldn't afford to have the whole team come back through and make everything nice and level.
They're going to bring the gas pumps back just as a revenue source.
Yes, just so everyone on their way out of town can gas up, get a little extra juice on your way out. You're going to see it in other ways. It's not nothing, but it's also not impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, and this idea that we don't have it, I think, is just money's not real.
It's something to consider. We have a president and an athletic director who probably want to fire him. They want to be like, oh, the fan base doesn't want this. Jay Batt's like, this isn't my guy. And the president's like, I want to be popular. It's not my money out of my pocket.
Right.
We'll make this work out of some other accounting system. So
do you think it matters if they're laying off people on campus? Do you think that matters in all of this? The optics on it?
Nope.
I think if that mattered,
morally,
I think if that mattered, you can't be building a $700 million addition to the football stadium.
I wanted someone else to say it.
100% right. Again, we're not staking at the moral perspective. This is all utterly immoral. And it is what it is. And so if this is this table stakes, if this is the game we're playing in, the water we're swimming in, then that's just what it is.
Right. I think people understand that athletics is separate from the university and its mission, which is why it's all going to end up being separate and spun off anyway. We talk about school stuff, but we're not here covering for 2 weeks. Did you hear IAH is offering a new practicum next semester? We're diving deep into this. What's going to be on the syllabus? Is it a bell curve? We're not talking about those things.
The Department of Agriculture's new grant for a tall turf type fescue.
I think we did cover the cows when they got their new house, but that was mostly tongue in cheek. And I think people get the differences.
Yeah. And frankly, those developments to the university, as much as we care about them, or you don't have homecoming because.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Those, the academic raising funds for that, for the giant capital campaign that they're doing, that's easier if football is winning.
It is.
So it's an investment in that way too.
So let's just put a button on this. I think we all agree that there's very unlikely anything that can be done this season. But if there is going to be something to be done, it looks like competence and an acknowledgement that we're in an unacceptable place.
Yeah.
And what competence looks like, it certainly means making a bowl game. I don't think we're removing that bar from success on this season. Just
We're
because
not
you
asking
fucked up
for the college
beginning.
football playoff.
Yeah.
We're asking for a low
and
bar.
I think we would all agree that this whole Cignetti thing is, I think it's a bit of a red herring. I don't know if you all agree with me on that, but like that is,
I do.
That is changing what actually makes, I think it's discounting what makes Coach Cignetti a good coach. I think you're robbing him of something when you do that. Anyway, I guess until he stabs us with that apparatus from 7 next week. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, we know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, let's talk some basketball then really quickly. Guys, there was an exciting
haven't
poll.
we been mad enough? Do you have to talk about this?
No, this is good. There was a poll that came out from The Athletic.
Oh, this is the good one. Okay, very good.
Yeah, ranking the Big Ten preseason ranking. Does anyone want to guess where Michigan State fell on this poll? Guesses, come on.
4th.
6th.
Huh.
Okay.
Your returning Big Ten champions who won the league by 3 games, 6th.
In fairness, we have also had our criticisms for what's happened on this team in the offseason. Or not happened.
Also, did you guys see that Tom Izzo at Media Days was asked about Michigan winning the Big Ten last year? And
no, I did not see that.
He promptly corrected the reporter and he said, they won the tournament. They did not win the Big Ten. But the other thing is that Ken Pom, for the first time, has released coaching rankings into his math cabal.
Yeah, it's what additional
above
you can
ranking.
expect a coach to add above all of the other measurables of the team to its winning likelihood is what it is.
Yeah, and Tom Izzo does not make the top 25. Tommy Amaker does. That was like some of the names on there you're not mad about, but you're also like, if they're on there, I'm surprised my guy's not on there. Like Samson, not surprised. Like Matt Painter, like credit where credit's due. Painter's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on a different poll, had Painter as number 1 guy that other coaches would want their kid to play under if they had the chance to choose. Matt Painter was number 1.
I also assume is because he's younger, so that he'll be there longer.
Maybe, but who was number 2?
In the way that Tom does.
But who was number 2?
Tom Izzo. Yep.
And so Ken Pom has fucking completely done. I'm angrier at Ken Pom, by the way, than I am this program, the football program, because that is the most ass backward, the words I want to use right now. I can't legally use.
I want to justify this for a moment.
It's impossible to don't waste the time. If I could
justify this, how many times have we complained about Tom deciding that he's going to ride a certain lineup into the dirt just because he wants it?
True.
Or how many times we've been like, Tom, call a timeout. They've scored 17 points in a row. Call a timeout. And he's like, no, I want to see the team figure this out for themselves. Those are the moments where will Tom Izzo actually help your team win on a day-to-day? That starts to go down. Now, he changes all of that for March, and then all of a sudden we go off on a big run and we outperform our seeding and blah, 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 blah. But in the middle of February, when we're in league game number 3 and he's playing a rotation of like 4 idiots and no one can put the ball in the hoop, and there's just 4 idiots. There's actually not even 5 guys on the floor, because that's the rotation that Tom wants to see. that is when he's earning not being in the top 25 of which coaches are going to help you win a game above and beyond, because he's actively trying to force these guys to work together in a way that he wants to see.
All right, that's fine. I guess I would just also say, though, that Well, I think we got questions on some of this later. So
I also don't want to make excuses for Ken Pom, but if I were, that's how I would.
But yeah, this idea that Tom Izzo's not a top 25 coach, I think is that somehow the math doesn't validate that he's a top 25 coach.
Yeah.
Ignores what we've all watched literally for the last quarter century.
Correct.
So
it's clickbait. This is Ken Pom is just completely sold the fuck out because he can't even
it's in his math
this.
now.
I don't care if it's in the math, but it just goes to show that models are I don't know. This is what he does. He does models. I don't even think he cares. I think it's just a model. It's math, and this is why they can't work. This is why AI can generate actors and actresses to play parts in movies, and they will be soulless because, in fact, they are soulless, and there's only so much that the math could do. This is just fucking stupid, and shame on him. Fuck that guy.
Also, his top 25 for preseason came out, and we are 25th. Okay, so
we're more Torvik people than Ken Pom anyway.
Hockey. Let's keep it going. Splits with New Hampshire. Not great, but every other good program took a dookie on the ice as well. So there's that.
When that happens, can a Zamboni pick it up, or is it like when like a robot vacuum gets dog shit and it just like smears it everywhere?
I was gonna say
what would happen in an ice dookie situation?
I think it's probably a little bit more akin to like when the toilet's clogged and you keep flushing it anyway, and it just kind of browns up more and more. Yeah, that's what's happening there.
There's more scatological humor in this episode than I was expecting.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Do we want to say anything more about hockey? I don't think we need to.
Can we say something positive? Can we talk about volleyball?
Yeah,
because
fucking Forks down. Volleyball takes down number 20 Indiana at home, making them 8-0 on the season at the Brez. Huge win for that team, and hopefully, a bright spot for a coming tenure in our new coach. That's all I got.
I've got a date. So listeners will recall from an hour and 12 minutes ago that we're drinking number 28 from listener Mike Jones that I called a flavored vodka. And lo, it is indeed Killer Squeezed Lime Vodka. And I do not recommend it. It's got to go into something else. Like put this in something else entirely.
Yeah.
No one's drinking Killer Squeezed Lime Vodka by itself except for me right now because I'm a fool.
I'm just checking Twitter right now to see if Smith got fired. All right. You never know.
Or Lindgren or someone.
Yeah, truly. Well, that's I don't think we talked about this we were talking about it before we record. I think the most disappointing thing is that unless something comes up in the press conference tomorrow, nothing's happening this week. Yeah. Because you're not going to do it any later than today.
Well, this gets to my whole point. This man doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. I don't think he's going to make a move until J-Bat comes in and says, you're making a move.
I will say there's not much that's redeeming about Mel Tucker, but I do think Mel Tucker understood the urgency of the situation.
Well, Mel Tucker if he would self-preserve, that's for sure. And if he saw this as a threat, he would do something.
Yeah. All right, let's head off Grand River. But before we do, if you're traveling off Grand River, we cannot recommend you go any place more than Mama's Mercantile and Eatery in Grass Lake, Michigan. Whether you're dining in or ordering online, experience great food, drinks, and atmosphere at Mama's. It's truly it's a great scratch kitchen with fantastic cocktails. You can visit mamasmerc.com for menus, online, and ordering, and more. And if you mention Can't Read, Can't Write, you get 10% off the show. If you're an occasional listener of the show and you're just realizing that, and you have someone in your life that goes to Mama's on a regular cadence, you should share that discount code with them. mamasmerc.com.
I'm going to share this really quick because it's worthwhile. I had someone that didn't know that I was associated with Mama's Merc, but they were like prompted by someone that did know that I was associated with Mama's Merc and told them what they think about the restaurant. It's one of their favorites in the state. And they had no idea that we talk about it every week, live and on the air. She loved it. She went on and on about how much she enjoyed it. And she's right. Go there and get your 10% off.
Can't read, can't write. All right, let's briefly head off Grand River. And I don't know that we've got a whole lot more to talk about other than word has come out that the private equity culprit in all of this, joining the Big Ten, might in fact be CalPERS, which, if you don't know, is the pension and fund essentially for the state of California, which means in some ways that Cal, to whom the Big Ten is indirectly paying alimony, would literally own part of the Big Ten. This does make a lot more sense, though, as we understand the investment dynamic, that it would be not a conventional private equity firm.
Because private equity would never accept those terms. But apparently private equity was in consideration. Blackstone was in there. Another one was in there.
Great.
The good news is, if there's any good news, is that pension funds are idiots. Well-known rubes that get there is a cottage of industry. If you're good at sales, I'm not saying like, I can move a used car, or like maybe you're up into software sales, or maybe you're doing something, you're having a nice like 7-figure year every once in a while. If you're truly good at sales, go in to hedge funds and sell these types of pension funds on hedge fund activity, and the amount of money that you can make being a salesman in those types of positions is unreal, because they're stupid. So if the Big Ten is taking advantage of the California pension fund and getting a little money up front, but it does sound like giving more ownership than we had originally been told, that's still not entirely clear. Maybe it's not as bad as it seemed before, but still, I don't know.
It also negates all the synergy that we thought might actually be an opportunity.
You lose on that. Yep.
What are we going to all be rocking CalPERS badges on the front of our jerseys? Like, what?
And what we're talking about, listener, in case you're a blessed person, you've never had to deal with private equity before,
or they have to the episode last week.
Other brands in their portfolio that might decide, they need to do some advertising. We're going to do it over here because it's taking the money out of one pocket and putting it in another. You lose access to that kind of stuff when it's CalPERS, but they do still have major ownership stakes in a lot of different organizations.
Yeah. All right, let's do these social media questions. First up, Alex Plum from listener Mike Jones. Would you switch seasons with Penn State right now if you could? Preseason top 5, picked by the media to win the Big Ten, only to Franklin 3 straight weeks, lose your QB for the year. Or would you stick with our current season on the highway to hell, hoping change is coming? Adding that he didn't anticipate Franklin getting fired today, but how the fuck does Luke Fickell still have a job? Who knew Wisconsin was not so serious about football?
It's an interesting question. I think that Penn State's got to be more demoralized than we are right now, simply because the expectations were so much higher. I got to say, though, and I know that Franklin his way into this, but my God, but the man achieved in the 10 years, 14, how many years, 10 years, 12 years that he was at Penn State?
Like the third most tenured coach in the Big Ten, or maybe even higher than that.
Like he was there for a long, he was a national championship contender just about last season. Like, AP top 2. I mean, okay, but still, like 6 straight, New Year's 6 bowl game. I mean, I don't know. This is, I get it. I don't know. I mean, maybe I would be calling for, but after what he'd achieved, would I be calling for his firing? That's kind of crazy to me. But so I don't know. I get the clap, but it was not like they were blown out. They lost by 1 to Nebraska. They went into overtime against Oregon. Yeah. Northwestern. So these aren't like, they're close loss. I mean, I get it. And then of course it's on a season-ending injury for his quarterback. So like, what are we? But they fired him. So this is my point. No, to the question, I would not want Penn State's life right now, though they are clearly a better team. They are clearly a better program, and they very much clearly have better university leadership. If this is honestly what accountability looks like for that program, we actually have something fucking to learn. So, no, I hope we continue to get our faces rubbed in it until Jay Bott and whoever the fuck is the president. Almost Stanley,
J-Bot.
which isn't his name.
J-Bot fire mode activated.
J-Bat. J-Batat. Anyway. Okay, next up, Mike Fisher. Mike Fisher? New Mike Fisher?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not. Hi, Mike. Mike Fisher asks Kevin Gregg, what does it say about Michigan State's donors that they'd reduce financial support of the football program just because they didn't get a say in the hiring of Smith? This must be in reference to Graham's article.
Yeah. First off, I don't know if we have all of the information around this because, again, we kept for a time being told that the NIL at the university is in tip-top shape and not holding us back and not a problem, but also
everybody,
like
if you could donate, that would also be great.
And everybody, if you could figure out how to donate in an effective way, let me know, because the website that I used to donate to got shut down. It doesn't exist anymore. 404 Gateway Error. So do something. I think it goes to show that they're donors. Donors are fickle, weird people. They want to feel included and acknowledged. If anything, maybe this is more of a reason why Alan Haller needed to go. If you can bungle this so completely, it's... I think it says less about the donors, and I think it says more about the athletic department that they couldn't keep I know you're not going to make everyone happy,
right?
But you can at least keep everyone a little bit involved. And if you can't thread that needle, you gotta go. And maybe they made the right choice with him. Him being, in this case, Alan Haller, just in case that wasn't clear.
Next up, from Jason Fry, Alex, I know it's not your fault or your responsibility, but can any of you give me any reason to have hope for the future of MSU football? If they fire Smith, it will cost so much in money and denigrating their reputation for whomever they try to hire. If they choose to keep him, they're stuck in suckitude.
I think this is wrong. Let me tell you why I think it's wrong. J-Bot, I still don't know how to say it, it's Bot, right?
Bat.
J-Bot.
No, it's Bat. It's Bat.
Christ forsaken. I hate you, Kevin. This is on you. This is utterly on you. What is J-Bot? Oh, like robot. I get what you're doing. I hate
J-Bot.
Yep. I'm going to continue to say bot because of that. Anyway, this is J-Bat's opportunity to have a mark. And this was in Graham's piece as well. This idea that search firms, the things that money universities rely on to find a coach don't do the kind of deep digging that was necessary to actually get out of the weeds or into the weeds, out of the pressers and the big names and the glitz and glamour and stuff. And I think to that end, maybe Haller really thought he had uncovered a gem hiding in whatever mud at Oregon State. But I would say this is where J-Bat, who's comes with all of this esteem and all of this profile from Georgia Tech and all of his accomplishments. This is a guy, this is his opportunity to make his mark. He's got every bit of, he's got the fans on his side. He's got to have the donors on his side. Basically got the players on his side. If you trust a single word the fucking player said today, you could hear it in the captains when asked, aren't you guys demoralized after 3 straight losses? I mean, how do you turn the corner now? And when you're facing Indiana, and Jordan Hall's response is, I am looking forward to playing Indiana and us continuing to improve this season. Like, oh Christ. Oh my God. So yeah, no, I don't care how much it costs. I think we made the point. Money isn't the object here. This is J-Bat's opportunity. This is an opportunity, and he needs to seize it.
Plum, just so you've got the mnemonic in your head, his handle on Twitter is @MSUBatman with 2 T's. That extra T is for extra talent.
Is that the tagline? Please tell me that's the tagline.
No, that's actually a line from Psych. But anyway,
cool.
Next up, it's my favorite show. Munfield
Cool.
Keg. Is there a more Californian-looking dude than Jerry Neuheisel? Also, you can just tell from the way he coaches that he loves and lives the game of football. Are we sure Jonathan Smith even likes football?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, there's a reason why UCLA didn't take Jonathan Smith back with them on the team play. I think they're probably happy with the guys they've got right now, even if they're a little confused about who the head coach is.
Next up is Thomas Zambiasi. Don't really want a firing now because I'd like Jay Batt to have a real plan going forward and for candidates and how to handle the dollars. But can we trust that he can keep the board and donors from getting their fingers in and fucking with things like they do with Antonio's exit and Mel Tucker's replacement? Plum.
I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. This is such a Thomas. I love you. You know, I've always loved Thomas Zambiasi. I just don't even know where to begin with this question. No, we can't trust anything. You can't trust the board. You shouldn't trust the board. You shouldn't trust any elected body to do anything. They're not trustworthy. That's just by virtue of politics in general. But what I trust is you pay people to do their job, and when they don't do the job, you performance improvement them, and then you fire them. And I don't know what that looks like when you're paid tens of millions of dollars a year to do a job. I just don't know. I guess that the window for performance improvement is not there. It doesn't exist, or I don't know what it is. So are they going to get their hands and fingers in it and fuck it up? No doubt, probably. But I will say that I think Kevin G. Let me say this. Each of the boards in the elected boards in the state of Michigan have fucked so much up recently that I think at this point, even the boards themselves know they actually have to stop. And I would say that the current board is I mean, I know that we have a rotating presidency, but I think the current board's, I don't know how much power the presidency is led by as a person I actually like, but I will say in an offensive way anyway, I think it's the least inept person on the board. And I would think that has some hope for us at this current time, though I don't know how long those terms stay. And, you know, this person could be out before, you know, it rotated into a new. Anyway, so don't expect them to fuck things up, but maybe not to the extent that they have in the past, simply as a function of how badly each of the state boards has been doing shit lately. Michael Thomas asks, in the meantime, what sports deserve a shot at keeping a crowd in Spartan Stadium? Women's soccer? Any of the ultimate club teams?
I mean,
like
volleyball.
Yeah, honestly, I bet you if you did a volleyball game there against Nebraska and opened ticket sales up,
just a sea of red at Spartan Stadium.
I mean, you know, like
raise funds that way. Raise the Fire Coach Smith fund that way, you know?
And
thank you, Nebraska fans, for subsidizing the replacement of Coach Smith. We only have to do this every game all season.
I'm pretty sure Nebraska fans are universally believed to be the nicest of all fans in the Big Ten. So, you know, there are worse people to do it against. Otherwise, I'm shocked we've not played a basketball game there.
Like, I guess that's probably because of the time of year when these things are happening.
Yeah, I'm still shocked we haven't played a basketball game there. But otherwise, that's what I'm going with. Do we have an ultimate? Yeah, an ultimate frisbee team. Yeah, that might be. I think dodgeball. We have an elite dodgeball team. Absolutely needs to happen in Spartan Stadium.
Put them in the stadium, you cowards.
Next up, Nate C., who Nate gave you all the questions this week that you submitted. Who has it worse, MSU, Penn State, or Wisconsin?
I think we're pretty close to Wisconsin, by the way.
Though I do think Wisconsin has it slightly worse.
Yeah.
I really don't think they have the money.
Penn State has ripped the Band-Aid. That's the question. Is who's worse off? The team that's ripped the Band-Aid or the team that hasn't ripped the Band-Aid? Jonesy, do you have a feel on this?
I mean, I would rather be Penn State right now. I'd rather be
right now, today. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you still have talent. You've made the move. Players aren't going to leave at this point in the season. You can potentially make a hire. The transfer window has changed. Like,
let's be completely honest. They get their choice of hire before we get our choice of hire if we're hiring at the same time. We need to be open about that.
I also want to be very clear that, like, I think if anyone is really caring about that, you're missing the point. Because if Sig is the name that everyone wants, Sig was not. Penn State would have never considered him 2 years ago. So, look, I think for Michigan State, if we're being really real about what we need to get done, it is to make that hire, and it's not in the way that everyone thinks that people mean when they say hire Coach Sig. Like, again, accountability, competence, attention to detail. Like, those are the things that matter in a coach.
Next up from Nate C. How toxic of a work environment do you need to create to get a head coach to quit? I'll throw this to Plum because I think the listenership wants to hear Plum answer this question.
Because Plum definitely has not ever created a toxic work environment.
Never.
Not answering that question. I will say. That
hypothetically, how might you do it?
I really want to answer this question in authentic ways, and I can't. Golly. I mean, it would have to be, you'd have to do things to the family. You'd have to start doing things to his family. You would. You'd have
That's
to find,
toxic, all right.
You'd have to do things. Does he have school-age children? Did he bring school-age children?
Yes,
he did, didn't he?
Kids in school, yeah.
That's it. I'm sorry. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not suggesting that this should happen. I don't think this should, honestly. And you know that you've heard me very clearly today say awful things about this person. And yet, no, families are off limits. But the answer to the question is, that's the answer to the question.
Yeah, that would be toxic, all right.
Such an environment for his children that he has no choice. So don't do that. No one do that. Please, no one do that. Next up from Nate C. I don't really know.
The hits just keep coming. Let's send the man home. Referencing Trent Bray has been fired as as Oregon State's head coach. So there is a vacancy back in Corvallis for Jonathan Smith.
That was
nice. It all works out.
It wasn't a question.
Just take it, you know?
We should offer it to him. And you know what? He can take Childs back with him. Last up from Nate C, because why not? Confession, it was me. My dad and I have a superstition: no MSU clothing on game day unless we're going to the game. Yesterday, I woke up and chose Milan's. I put everything on. 2 shirts, socks, belt, hat, coat, and I'm glad I did. It needed to be done. Now we can move on. Oh, I forgot to add, I also turned on a couple of fluorescent MSU lights that I usually only light up after big victories. I was really stacking the deck against Smith here. Good.
2 shirts. 2 shirts is a lot.
It's
more than you need.
It's like the Joey from Friends when he puts all of Chandler's clothing on.
Do you have any recent TV references? Is it all going to be Psych and
My Lord
Friends?
And my God.
Jesus.
Next
Why
up
did we put you?
Next up for Kevin Gregg from Beth Amaro. Hi, Beth. Beth asks, Kevin, how long before Jonathan's Spartan logo wear starts showing up at Goodwill stores in the Greater East Lansing area? Are we counting in days, weeks, or months?
I'm afraid that we're counting in months. We are counting in months, I think.
Yucky.
It's like that
Yucky,
I Love
yucky,
Lucy
yucky,
episode.
Okay. Okay, that's enough out of you.
You're so stupid.
Actually, continue that thought, Michael Jones.
Oh, yeah.
No, do it. It's so old that it's cool and back around again. Explain the joke, please.
Explain. Why don't you tell everyone your theories about music and college campuses?
All right. Next up from Beth for Michael. Michael, are you guys seriously going to watch all of the rest of the games and subject yourselves to reliving them for the pod? If so, we need to chip in for the therapy sessions you're going to need. Please send me your Venmo tag.
Greg would not allow that, but we will. I will be watching the games.
We will be subjecting ourselves to this. Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? Consider it sort of a giver situation. Another dated reference. We will watch them so you don't have to.
It's literary though, so it's okay.
It's a good book.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
literary.
Okay. Yeah,
basically, yeah,
it's canon. Yeah, timeless.
Got it. What if it's also a movie? Like, can I make a Catch-22 reference? Is that okay?
Oh, yes, because that's a new movie. They've just made a new version of it.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
last year, I think.
Was it any good?
Didn't see it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Next up from Beth Amaro, Plum. Is there a place for Jeff Gillooly in all of this? P.S. We might want to lock him in before Shadur Sanders does.
So I want to go back to the question that we just discussed from Nate C. Jeff Gillooly just needs to start following around Jonathan Smith's kids. And then
Jesus Christ,
we've got the toxic environment we were discussing. Again, don't want this to happen. I'm just using it as an allegory for the kind of environment that would be effective at getting him to leave the state of Michigan.
It would be a toxic work environment for sure if Jeff Gillooly was around.
Next up, Jordan Villarreal asking Greg, knowing recruits will see and hear the vibes we put out there, what level of frustration is appropriate to put in social media?
Yeah, it's a fair question. And I do think it's impactful, Jordan. There's no doubt about it. But I think what's more impactful is the NIL dollar number. And that is going to be driven by the frustration as well. So it is a little bit death spirally, but it is a little bit like there's no pulling out of this death spiral. So does it really matter?
Can we also, though, ask the question, like, does it matter? Like, we're pretty on record being super disappointed with the recruits. We've already lost our top two. We're probably going to lose our third. Like, okay. It's like when people complain that, Childs is going to leave. Don't threaten me with a good time. Like, stop.
Yep.
Anyway. Next up from Jordan. That being said, extremely frustrated doesn't cut it. Do we believe Jay Batt is able to turn this around?
You got to.
You have.
You got to. You just have to.
That's the one job he has. It's the only job he has.
And does this last loss justify a midseason firing? I think we've covered this as well. Plum, put a button on it for Jordan. Yes, no.
The answer is yes, 100%.
Certainly coordinator.
Yes. Next up from Mr. Neurotic Pants, number one this week in Spartan Nation, Jay Blatt demands Jonathan Smith return this year's salary. Quote, you'll just have to struggle on the $500,000 in the bank. I bet it's way more. The amount of money that he would have to spend, that he's only got $500,000 in the bank, it's a crazy amount of money. Next up, Izzo watches Ted Lasso and renews push to become coach of the football team. More embarrassment at Izzo and Nightingale as Izzo and Nightingale try to avoid eye contact with Smith at Walmart. This I like. The idea that they're shopping together and putting things in the cart, and then they see John Smith coming the other way, and they're just like, oh. They try to like pull the cart around. This is great.
So good. So good.
Very good.
Number two, short of a hefty NIL deal, why would any Power 4 caliber player want to play at MSU? I can only think of family ties or academics, but most players don't care about that shit anymore. Hefty NIL deals is all that matters anyway.
I think that's it. I don't think
we've heard it from coaches time and again. That's all that matters. The number is really all that matters. One way or another.
And frankly, I think we should be a little bit concerned if folks wanted to come play for dear alma mater. I wish it wasn't the case, but it just is. They don't give a fuck anymore.
Also, I think how much money are we spending on Childs that could have been spent on an O-line?
Yeah. I mean, really, Smith just latched all of his credibility and really the whole team to Childs. And
that was a mistake.
It has gone.
I'm gonna ask a question really quick, and I'm just gonna bounce this off of you, and you guys can tell me that I'm an idiot, because at college, obviously, they're not as good, but in fantasy football, right? Quarterbacks have gotten drafted later and later and later, because at some level, any quarterback is going to net you a decent amount of points, right? So the point being is that there's more value in other positions. I guess my analogy here is college quarterbacks are substantially worse than even a bad pro quarterback. But if you invest that money in your offensive line, can't you make even a mid quarterback look better.
Isn't that the Alabama model in a lot of ways?
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I guess that's just sort of my...
Not in all ways. I know it's not a blanket statement, but that was definitely the beginning of the Alabama model.
Yeah. And so like this, I appreciate that the measurables on Childs, like we've talked about it here before. Some of the things he can do with his arm are special, but
maybe,
but there's plenty of things he can't do.
Is that true with his arm? With his legs, maybe special.
Maybe with his legs, yeah.
His arm, I don't think we've ever seen anything that's like transcendent from him.
Not transcendent. Like I don't think his deep ball is very good, but like that from one hash to the opposite side of the field, he's got decent zip on. Like he can. That's not a throw that everyone can make.
He's got decent zip, and he has occasionally made throws that are high major level.
Yeah. Anyway, next up from Mr. Neurotic Pants, am I off base in saying that UCLA may very well be a radically improved program, but Childs losing his confidence and Butterfinger receivers reflect on MSU, not UCLA? This team's spirit is again broken. Plum, you spoke to this earlier.
No, it is, and it's
care factor, right? Is
but
what?
But it just
our
listening
leader
to the
said?
player. Just I mean, Jordan Hall and Matt, whatever the fuck, white guy last name,
Golbin,
the captains in the post game being interviewed. The utter deadness in everything they said. Just, and this isn't a typical. I mean, this was the kind of like, yeah, we don't want to be here. Matt, what's his ass, had to be reminded multiple times. I mean, the only question they were asking about was that fourth down in the first half where everything changed, and he couldn't remember what they were talking about. He was like, I'm not sure what play you're talking about. And they're like, the only one, and it was just so apparent that like every play hence was so disastrous that to like, I don't even know that you still care about that, which I guess maybe is the truth to my lie. This idea that I said at the beginning of my thesis today would be if we had converted on that fourth down, that we would have won the football game. And I think the players, the post game tells the truth to that, which is no. They've been dead. They've been dead much longer.
I would agree with you a bit about the Hall sounding sort of flat and deflated. I actually read Golbin as being pissed.
Yeah,
like I read him more as like, I don't want to fucking talk about like he felt too angry to me to talk.
Yep.
Which frankly was closer to what I would appreciate out of the team. Than like I would rather have someone who's not ready to talk to the media. I don't care if you're a captain. I appreciate that that's like part of the obligation.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you rather have someone who's like, I'm sorry, we just got our face kicked in by a someone described UCLA as in our peer group. They're not in our peer group.
Oh no, they very much are now. Well, but we may not be in their peer group,
but they shouldn't be, right? Like
should is, but you should. Fine, but this is the point, and this is where I've been with you, and I've wanted to be with you for so long, and yet the last 5 years have been very clear.
Yeah,
that this Michigan State program is not the Michigan State program of 10 years ago. So we are in the appropriate peer group. We are in Minnesota and UCLA and Kent State and the University of Northern South Dakota at Hoople. That's the peer group now. We are doo-doo caca. And to the point, I want to bring in my friend, your friend, Ben Zaban. Ben asks, how many boners must be thrown until there is change? And that's the point. This is a program full of boners. The last 5 years, boner after Kenneth Walker III, after boner after boner. And
Kanan was a different kind of boner.
100%. This is awful. And we had Mel Tucker's boner to thank for getting us out of that boner. But I don't know what boner is going to get us out of this boner. It may be Aiden Childs' boner plays, and God, he's full of them. It could be the boners on the offensive line. It could be the boners in the secondary. It could be the boners on the coaching staff. But they're all boners, and they all deserve to be deflated. dysfunctionally.
Relatedly, Nick Foster asks, and I think Nick's a first timer. Sorry, Nick, if you're not.
Cheers, Nick.
Cheers. What would it take for Smith to be let go this year? I know it's a big buyout. That's a fair question.
We didn't really answer that question.
Let's assume, because it is now 10:44 p.m. on Sunday, and he's not yet been fired, so it's not going to happen this week. What would it take for him to be fired?
Well, let's ratchet it up. Winless, is it a guaranteed firing? Rest of the season
has to be 100%. Has to be 100%.
Okay, 1 win for the rest of the season. Still has guaranteed firing.
Still has to be.
2 wins.
Not should he be fired, but will he be fired?
I'm saying I'm Jeff Gillooly, and Jay Batt has a problem. We're beyond Jonathan Smith's kids. Jay Batt has a serious problem if he isn't fired after a goose egg or 1 win. 2 wins, it's a question of which the wins are.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Right. Let's say we get our shit kicked in for the next 2 weeks. That includes...
We're going to be. We are.
But one of those is Michigan.
That's what I'm saying, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get our shit kicked in both games. Both games are going to be hellacious, awful games. And he's not going to be fired after either of them because everyone knows we're going to lose both those games. So I don't see firing him today would make sense. Waiting 2 weeks, it's already predetermined. So I don't know what the difference is. It's the same outcome.
At Minnesota versus Penn State. Yeah, there's no game on the schedule that would do it. So it's an end of season.
It's got to be an end of season. It could be Minnesota. It could be if we are scoreless against Minnesota. That might be it. That would be.
And a coordinator has not yet been fired.
Oh my God! Can you imagine getting the end of the year and he's not even bothered to fire a coordinator yet?
We need to get ready for that. Like I don't think that Jonathan Smith has the stones to sack a single one of his coaches.
Element to it. Greg, what do you think? What would it take for him to get fired this year? Let's say get fired.
Winless, I think he's gone. You can't make him. You can't make.
Is
an
there
argument
anything
for keeping
mid-season
him.
that gets him fired? That's
just
not for cause.
Truly, like as demoralizing as this is, if every one of these games is like 0-40, something like that, just getting house after house after house, and it is undeniable by anyone that this is clearly not working. Then you've got to make a change. Then you scrape the money together.
You guys asked me earlier, and maybe someone else is going to ask this. I don't know. Sorry. And if it is, just tell me and we'll just keep going. You guys had asked me what it would take. What's the redemption narrative? Did you guys answer that question? What the redemption narrative is for him out of this?
I asked that question. Jonesy said that there isn't one, so it doesn't matter to answer.
But
the nearest is you got to fire a coordinator. We need to make a bowl, and it needs to be very clear that not only has this team not quit, but there is a renewed attention to detail that we have not seen over the last few games.
And did you have any notes on that, Kevin? I want to know where you are.
We need to see, because we're so far past any excuses right now. This game, this loss was a program loss. Mm-hmm. It was bad scheme, players quitting, as you've called out a number of times. And you can't hand wave it away with like, we just don't have the NIL or we just don't have it's UCLA coming across the country, a program that can't even keep a head coach.
Yep.
Coming and beating you with an interim. Yep. That is as bad as it gets.
Yep.
So if this continues, so we need to see a lot to make the argument. Next up from Stupid Shardy, what is the most embarrassing MSU game and since when? I think this is it. This is it for my money.
I don't know that there's actually, maybe the Arizona State game.
That sucked. The Minnesota game where it was over in the first quarter. That sucked.
Yeah. We went to that game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Those would be my 2 next closest votes.
Plum, what was the one where I threw the beer?
Jesus Christ.
All right. It got out of my hand and down the aisleway. There's so many, but I think this is the worst one.
It was Minnesota. It was last year. It was Minnesota last year at home.
This is the worst one. It's not close.
Okay. No, I don't know. Minnesota at home last year was. bad. Maybe this is worse. No, I guess maybe this is worse. I don't fucking know.
I think it's because of the circumstances. This is worse. Finally, from Stupid and Shardy, also we've heard MSU is competitive Big Ten NIL. Again, that's what we're told. Where did that go? Smith's pockets? The same with the large assistant coaching pool of money? Well, Jonesy already brought up that second part. It's clearly not working. It's the guys that they're choosing to spend the money on. It's very clearly not working. Maybe not working to the extent that Tucker was not working, but this staff is clearly not putting the money where it belongs either. Next up from Head Spartan, if Jonathan Smith was a stain, what stain would it be, and on what article of clothing? The last part's easy. It's a Patagonia vest, but what kind of stain would it be? Jonesy. Everyone thinks I'm throwing a plum on this, but I'm going to throw it to Jonesy.
God, that's performative. You know what? I'm going to go. It's a coffee stain, and here's why. It is just like such buffoonery to just drip it all. What do you want to say, Plum? Plum, you had an opinion, and he didn't want to go to you for reasons.
When someone loses certain functions, they get an ostomy bag. Okay? These ostomy bags are not always well fit. And so when the waste leaks out of the orifice, that's the stain. It pools. It is a color unlike any you've seen. For while it is natural, it is only natural in the biblical sense. And that is the stain that he is. An ostomy stain on his Patagonia. Foul.
Next up, Ethan Laba. What can MSU even do here? Even if we got the money to fire Smith, who would we hire as a replacement? Feels like we're going to be in college football purgatory. With the other head coach vacancies this cycle, I'm not sure what kind of candidate we can pull. Seems like we may be trapped for now. I think we've talked about this one a lot.
But that last point, I don't think I've heard mentioned today yet, which is, and this had just struck my mind too. With the pool of vacancies, competing seems a lot harder because for sure Fickle's out probably by the end of the season. So you've got at least one other Big Ten program. There's probably going to be more if we're being honest. Obviously, well, then Penn State. So
and UCLA. Probably,
but then
maybe.
You got the UCLA thing, at least, and then there's going to be more. I'm sure there'll be some in the SEC. So
maybe
this
Signetti.
is
Rule. Those also might. Signetti might be gone from IU
because he gets recruited somewhere. You mean yes?
Yeah. And then Rule might also go from Nebraska.
Could we get Signetti? How much could we get Signetti? Do we want Signetti? Does it matter? Nothing matters.
I will continue to go back to that. No one wanted Signetti. And now everybody wants Signetti. So, like, this idea that there's too much competition.
Yeah, none of it. Yeah, you're right.
Or Mark Rich gets fired from Georgia, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Mark Rich, hang it up." Miami seems more legit than Oregon right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good points. It's fit. It's just about fit. It's about accountability, and it's about having the resources to build a program. And Smith does not fit the culture here. He clearly does not have the resources. And my God, he does not have the team. He just does not have the team in any cultural sense. So I don't know. All right. Verbose Dutch asks, Jonesy, at what point is 11 considered a better option than 2 at QB? It may be far away, but when is near?
I don't think it's far. At this point in time, like, I think everyone's discerning. At least it has earned a series. Like,
and not just at the end of the game when it's already put away. It doesn't matter anymore. You're saying,
if you're a coach, like, you might want to nip this in the bud, but like, then put him out there for the second series of the game. Let him know he's going to do it.
But why not start him? Why not start him?
Well, depending on the concussion that Child suffered, he may start next week.
Call Jeff Galooly. Let's make sure. Make sure.
We need to do a where are they now on Jeff. Next up from Verbose Dutch, what's the best way to uncover evidence of NCAA violations which rise to level of justifying for cause firing of a head coach? Asking for a friend, Alex Plum.
This is what I asked you both earlier, I think via text. I have a lot of questions on this. I'm not a contract lawyer, though I understand Michael is. And he's like, no, I'm not. But I understand that there is a way to get out of any contract. There is a way to get out of any contract.
It seems like self-reporting recruiting violations is the mode du jour that keeps happening all over the place.
And he's so stupid, he probably could do it. What we need to do is we need to infiltrate some low-level GA or low assistant coach somewhere and just start finding a way to plant the seeds. I think there's got to be a way. The other way to do this, of course, is to just drag it out in litigation. Make the novel case that he is basically malfeasant, that his performance is so shockingly bad that he is intentionally creating the context by which he would have no recourse, the university would have no recourse but to fire him, and that is somehow a breach, a contractual breach, which deobligates the university from having to fulfill the terms. And then you just tie it up in litigation for the next 10 years so that whatever he ends up getting out of the contract, they eventually try to settle for much less than is owed, but he'll just do it because it would be so much more expensive.
It seems like if you're hiring a coach and they think that they're a real hot commodity, they think they can never lose, every team should put a 3-9 clause in its contract of like, listen, if you go 3-9, we're gonna all of this is null and void.
Goes away.
And I think a lot of coaches would be like, that would never happen to me. So fine, let them put the 3-9 contract in there.
No, but this is the point.
Be like, we'll pay you $250,000 a year more every year to put a 3-9 contract in your clause in your contract.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
It doesn't even have to remove the buyout. It could just substantially, every 3-9 season, substantially cuts into that buyout.
Remember, I mean, and someone's going to say I'm an idiot, but I think Curt Cignetti proves the rule. Who?
Yeah.
So this idea that like you pay Franklin or you pay whoever the fuck Saban gargantuan amounts of money, then you get a Curt Cignetti. Who? So this is the point, that none of this actually matters. There's a cultural component to it. There's an NIL component to it. There's a leadership component. There's a lot of components to it. And there's so many components to it, in fact, that frankly, the universities have got to reclaim the power here. I guess now looking back, this is the ultimate proof that Alan Haller was so far over his skis to not have written after how desperately we had to get out of Mel Tucker and how the gods just gave us Deus Ex Machina. Here you go. We're just going to fix it for you, because how do you even make that story up?
Yeah.
And then we still write a contract is absolutely lopsided, just fucking pissed down our own leg. Criminy.
To answer the question more directly, just hack into his phone, download FanDuel, and set up an account, make a couple bets, and there's that.
Yep.
There you go. There's a scandal for you. All right, next up from Tianon, what's your preferred plane tracking app? There you go.
Plum, this is for you. You of all people have got a plane tracking app. Don't you?
I don't.
All right. Next up, Scott, you. What in the world is going on in college football? Kevin Greck, Northwestern wins at Penn State. Penn State, who has the same record as MSU, fires Franklin, who got them to the Final Four last year. Oregon, who spends more NIL than God, loses to IU. And Michigan loses by 18 to USC.
Well, that last one doesn't surprise me that much. I'm more surprised that Michigan went on the road and beat Nebraska. Anything that you want to add on that? I mean, maybe we do so much whining and complaining about how NIL is the only thing that matters and all the talent is going to just pool in like 6 different brands. Maybe this actually does go to show that there is a fair amount of parity in college football and it's never as bad as it seems. Is Scott onto something here, guys?
I mean, I think NIL is going to at least even the playing field. It maybe not level it, but it's going to even out.
Maybe not NIL, but maybe rev share does.
Rev share is what I meant. Yes,
to a certain point. Yeah. That's a good question, Scott. We're not giving it the time that it's due because we're already at an hour 58 on our timer. I don't know about yours, dear listener. It's a good question, though. And it reminds us about how, like, as bleak as it looks right now, maybe you're never that far away. Next up from Scott U, is JBat capable of galvanizing the deep pocket MSU donors to raise MSU to an elite football level in the NIL era? Apart from some fireworks and tailgating things no news of MSU getting big money donors to buy in yet. Need this guy to start living up to his mega salary.
Can we say this? He might be all right now. This might be what he's doing, and this may be the reason you don't fire Jonathan Smith right now. Is right now, he can be inviting anyone that's been lapsed, anyone that hasn't been in yet is getting invited to meet him, or he's going to their homes, and he's like, you know where we're headed. The only reason that I have not fired him yet, Mr. Smithson, is because I haven't had a chance to meet with you directly. I understand that my predecessor utterly failed to talk to you about this. And frankly, that's why he's no longer affiliated with the program. And that's why I'm here, because I understand how important you are to this program's history. And here's all the money, please. Here's your money, please. So
here's an invitation to the listeners. My understanding is right now the biggest donor to football is Greg Williams. If that's incorrect, hit us up. Fix it. Fix our perception on this. The richest man in the state is a Spartan. The richest man in the state already put his name on one of the entrances of Breslin Center. The richest man in the state on Twitter said that Little Giant, or not Little Giants, but Trouble with the Snap was the best moment of his life after his kids being born. And the richest man in the state, as far as I'm aware, is not involved in the MSU football program at all right now. You gotta unlock that. Gilbert has money on a scale that all of our other donors, even the ones that own major sports franchises, do not compare to.
100%.
You gotta unlock that, and then everything else falls in line.
Yeah. And also, J-Bat has talked about how the first time he asked for money isn't the first time he's met somebody. So let's remember he's not
building relationships first.
He's in role that long.
I'm gonna withhold anything else on him, and I'm gonna just trust that that's the process. Next up, CV Bagel. Not really a question, but I'd like to request a nice rant about the genuine financial situation MSU is facing within the firings and the replacement cost. I think we've talked about this, CV Bagel. You'll excuse us for not getting into it again. We don't think that there's more to add to that question. Next up from him, Outdoor Gas Man. We kind of talked about this, but Greg, maybe you just want to put a pin in it. When would you pull the plug on Childs? And why is the correct answer yesterday?
You got to try it. I know that there's a lot of Childs apologists out there, and we're going to get DMs on this. And sure, I get it. He shows glimpses, but we're here now. We're where we're at now with him. You got to mix something up. You got to try something else. And we might regret this entirely. Mishkovich might go to Indiana and just butt fumble again. But you got to try something else. It's not working the way that we're at right now. Next up from Maddie Meh. MSU has hurt me enough that this GIF is found when you search Dead Inside. It's an auditory medium, Maddie Meh, but can we describe the GIF? Do we know what this is?
When I tweeted out the request for Twitter questions, I believe I GIF searched dead body, and it was a picture of a stick sort of lifting up an Elmo that was buried in the dirt, Elmo doll that was buried in the dirt. So yeah.
Okay.
Next up is Jared Scoggins. I believe, Jared, this is the first time when Jay Bott, that's validating for you, Plum. But Jay Bat fires John Smith, then hires when Jay Bat fires Jay Smith, then hires Jay Franklin, who will be against the rules for Big Game James to coach the rest of this season. Or do we have to wait for this train wreck to completely derail before we have another chance at happiness?
I'm going to just say, I think to the points we've just made, you got to I'm going to take back everything I said. I want Smith to see us through this season. I want it to give Jay Bat enough time to land the plane on every single dollar he needs to transform the program. And I'm now putting all my faith in him. So,
and in the meantime, we will root for the somehow. I don't think it can happen. Nothing would give me more joy than for this to be a low water mark.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
but the evidence is in.
Yes, but we're not deluded. Correct.
Right.
And if you're the administration, you have to support your guy until he's not your guy anymore. Mm-hmm. So like you've got to, we can come on here and we can just sound off. But if you're J-Bat or you're Kevin G or you're whomever, you got to support
have a plan.
Your guy
and anyway,
until he's not your guy.
Firing this guy right now, who the fuck are you going to make the acting head coach?
Harlan Burnett. Bring him back.
Literally, what are you doing?
His team just got a big win at Penn State. I think he's got a lot of juice right now.
You think D'Antonio would do it? No one asked this question. But do you think D'Antonio would do it?
Absolutely
We've never
not.
been down that road before.
All right, next up,
is Narduzzi fired?
770.
No, he's still at Pitt.
What is worse, the coaching staff looking completely lost or the players giving up so early in the game?
Great question.
They're
this is the riddle of the Sphinx right now. Like,
it's the same coin. It's just two sides of the same coin. Next up from Spartan 1877. This is just a bad place to be in Twitter order because we've talked about all of this so far. If Penn State can afford $50 million, why can't MSU afford $30 million? Again,
they can.
Kind of talked about this.
Yep. And
is it a coincidence that Smith has struggled after retiring the neon jersey?
Not
Spartan
enough.
18770.
Not enough people are
gold
talking
on
about
that
this.
one.
That was it. That was it.
I think. Am I the only one here who's like, I'm with him on those jerseys did not suck.
No, and if they gave the guys some juice, do it.
Take it.
Take them, remove the mothballs, bring them out. If they like it, I don't care. I'll take whatever. It can't get worse.
Yep.
Next up from the search,
Actually,
what's with football
I'm sorry,
coaches?
Kevin. They should be forced to wear them until they win a game.
That's good. Like we're gonna staple them to your skin. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the pneumonia came out on that one. Oh
Next
my God.
Next up from the search. This is a podcast that hasn't been but isn't going to go away and will yet be again.
Yeah, it's about to come back into vogue again.
Fuck me. What's with football coaches' brains shutting down when Alan Haller hands them a bag? This is a good question.
It is good. Yeah.
Though I am realizing there's a fair amount of Mel Tucker recruits on this team still. Maybe they all need to go.
Absolutely. Another great question, Michael, as the recovering attorney here. Can we sue Haller for gross negligence?
He will be hard to locate as he's somewhere in Orlando right now enjoying the comforts of Disney.
Yeah, he's certainly not watching this team. And last up from the search for Greg was the Connor Cook pick in the playoff, the end of this program.
Oh, no. There's been other moments since then.
It was the recruiting decisions in 2016 that
did not help.
The class of 2016, I think, was the end of
the election. This program. It was a confluence of things that really
and having my wedding at Spartan Stadium there and being like, what a happy place to be. And just like my marriage, here we are.
Oh God, she's gonna hear that.
It's
tomorrow.
been a long time since we've commented on my marriage or my wife's boyfriend or any of those things. So we got to bring those back.
How about that? Well, that's the bright spot. Just Sip asks, any bright spot to hang on to so far into the season? And I would say getting the chance to finally meet your wife's boyfriend, who I have actually only ever talked to on the phone. I've only ever talked to him on the phone.
The glow that you see out of Samantha when he's around, it's just
after a long weekend away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she deserves it.
She deserves it.
Next up, Sam did the 15 inning. We didn't even talk about this. Did you guys watch the whole Tigers game?
No, not the whole game. That would have been reckless. I did watch.
I was there.
I was there. Were you really? You were there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Leaving that many men on base. And I know even when the bases were loaded, that was because of an intentional walk. But like just at the end of everyone just being like screaming through the TV, like, you don't deserve to win this game after this. And then it kept going.
It kept going.
And I thought, like, yes, they don't deserve to win it, but maybe they will.
Are they gonna? Yeah.
Anyway, Jess, did the 15-inning Tigers game change your approach to the football game plans the following day, or did you power through? Well, there's one person listening for whom it did, and he knows who he is. But no, for me, you get up, you soldier on. It's game day. It's homecoming. You got to.
Yep.
And yes, Beth will continue to do it throughout the rest of the season. Thank you, Jess. Next up from the Key Ski, when is the best time to fire a coach to impact recruiting the least? Well, it's already being impacted, so do we even care?
Yeah. Also, yeah, I guess it just, what are you holding on to? You see Penn State losing all of their commits. Right. Like, what was their alternative? Wait until those very same players could have gotten out of their letter because their coach got fired after the season. Like, there's no good time to do this.
Yeah.
You need to do what's right for the program. You just have to do it. Yeah. Yep. Next up, Mamopoli, if you rolled back the tape, would you find anywhere on the podcast that one of you said, quote, having Western Conference teams in the Big Ten is a good thing, end quote?
Is it the Pac? Is that what she's saying?
I believe she's, referring to the Pac schools.
I think we talked about it as like, this is where college football is heading, and you have to be the baddie sometimes, and something alignment, something. But I don't care for him now. She's right about that.
Plum? I mean, I definitely said it at one point, just thinking about eyeballs, thinking about having the bi-coastal piece. This is us winning and taking over everything. I mean, and I think it's still right. I just think it's too damn bad that we're going to be relegated to obscurity. So I don't know. Too fucking bad. All right. Last up from Amopoly. Michael, it's that time of year again when harvest is bountiful and thankfulness abundant. Are you able to take a deep breath and a moment of zen and state what you are thankful for in respect to MSU sports? Too soon?
I'm thankful that this podcast is done. It's been a great episode of Can't Read, Can't Write. Gentlemen, fuck Jonathan Smith, but go green always and forever. And forks down today, forks down tomorrow, and forks down forever.
I'll drink that. Go white!